So the hill we're driving on right now is one of the steepest passenger carrying hills in North America. Has a 32% grade or 18-degree angle. If you guys ever get afraid on the way down, just do like I do, close your eyes. There's nothing to worry about on those buses. We're very well equipped for that kind of travel. First, we've got 6 big tires called Terra tires. Those wheels are 5 feet tall by 3.5 feet wide, inflated with very low air pressure, only 14 psi, to minimize the impact we have on the ice and also to ensure great traction. Those wheels cost a mere $5,000 a piece and they usually last up to 5 years. However, they haven't changed mine for the last 7 years, so I don't guarantee anything today. This vehicle is also equipped with what we call the transmission lockup. It's basically a device that will lock all the gears together, preventing the vehicle from rolling or going too fast downhill. This vehicle is also 6-wheel drive, powered with a 250 horsepower Detroit diesel engine, matched with an Allison transmission. So do you guys think we're on the ice yet? Well, the answer is yes. We are on what we call the ice-cored moraine. Basically, underneath us as we drive, there's about 100 feet of solid ice that has been covered with about 1.5 feet of rock and debris. And all of that rock and debris is actually acting as an insulation agent, preventing the ice from melting too quick.
Sit down!
Now if you look straight down the road there, you'll see there's a big water hole. This is what we call the Brewster's Tire Wash. It's basically all waters that have been channeled by us for the main purpose of cleaning our tires. If you were to carry any mud or any debris on the ice road, it would actually attract the sun rays, causing the road to melt a lot quicker. This is why we have to wash our wheels first. Now let's get back to those machines for a few moments. Those machines were actually built in Calgary by a company called Foremost. Foremost is a company that specializes in oilfield equipment. In 1979, the company I worked for, Brewster, contacted Foremost and asked them what they could do for us if we'd like to get a vehicle to go on the ice. This is what they came up with: the Terrabus. There's only 23 of those machines in the world. We at Brewster own and operate 22 of them. The 23rd is actually owned by the US government. It is used at the McMurdo Research Station in Antarctica, and they're using it for transportation of personnel and equipment. They have called their bus Ivan the Terrabus. Those machines take about 1.5 years to build and do cost a mere $1.3 million a piece, and they are crazy enough to let me drive it. Now if you look at about 9 o'clock on your left hand side, you have a great view of Mount Athabasca. Mount Athabasca is one of the tallest peaks in the Canadian Rockies, sitting at 3,490 meters. And right underneath, there's a very big ridge there. This is what we call the lateral moraine. The lateral moraine is basically a mixture of blocks of ice, rock, and debris that has been pushed on the side by the movement of the glacier. The glacier air is constantly moving, flowing down the valley. It's actually flowing down the same way a river would do. Basically, stronger current in the middle and weaker current on both sides. The rate of movement of the ice in the middle of the glacier is about 25 meters every year, or about 80 feet, and on both sides about 15 meters, or about 15 feet every year. Now, to give you a good idea of how much ice we have lost, over the last 165 years or so, the Athabasca Glacier was sitting on top of the lateral moraine before. So it's been estimated that we've lost about 60% of the Athabasca Glacier, not the Columbia Ice Field. Now if you look at about 10 o'clock, or right beside Mount Athabasca, there's another peak there. This one is called Mount Andromeda. And sitting between those two peaks, there is a glacier. This glacier is officially unnamed, so I called it the Simon Glacier. But my boss wasn't too impressed with that, so I'm going to stick to the name the drivers gave it over the years, which is the AA or AA Glacier, for its location between Athabasca and Andromeda. This type of glacier is what we call a hanging valley glacier. Basically, back in 1843, or before this one started receding, the Athabasca Glacier and the AA Glacier were linked together, but since the Athabasca Glacier started melting, they have separated themselves. The AA Glacier stayed hanging there in the valley, where it's named of Hanging Valley Glacier. What we see of it right now accounts for a very small portion of its entire size. This is actually a quite big glacier. This glacier is well over 1 kilometer long and flows right behind Mount Athabasca here. And this glacier is actually still pretty healthy. There's a lot more snow falling there every year than actually melts, so we still have some glacial ice formation up there. Now, another type of glacier that we have with us today is what we're driving on at the moment. This is what we call an outlet valley glacier. Before going into too much details on that type of glacier, I'll mention something about the Columbia Ice Field. It will be easier for me to explain afterwards. So the Columbia Ice Field itself is located on a high elevation plateau at an average altitude of about 3,000 meters above sea level. And this high elevation plateau is actually surrounded by 11 of the 22 tallest peaks here in the Canadian Rockies. We have 3 with us today. We've got Mount Athabasca, Andromeda, and on our right hand side we've got Mount Snowdome here. So basically if you picture the Columbia Ice Field to be like a big lake of ice, when this lake of ice gets filled and cannot hold it anymore, all of that ice needs to flow somewhere. So it starts flowing between those 11 tallest peaks, creating those large outlet valley glaciers. There are 6 of those glaciers linked to the Columbia Ice Field. The one we're driving on at the moment is the second largest in size. It's about 6 kilometers long by just under 1 kilometer wide. The largest of those glaciers is called the Saskatchewan Glacier. This one is quite big. We're talking about 9.5 kilometers long by just under 2. Now the Columbia Ice Field itself has a surface area of about 320